Hi, this is Chris Moretti, and over the next 5 to 10 minutes I'll be showing you how to work with court decisions, and in particular how to identify disagreement between judges. I'm going to assume some prior knowledge, and that in particular that you've watched some of the previous videos in this series. So one helpful finding, if we're looking at a case, and if we believe that there's some political elements in a case, one helpful aspect is the presence of disagreement between judges. That's a signal that the case could have been decided differently. And when judges disagree about how to dispose of a case, we talk about judges dissenting. And historically, the analysis of patterns of dissent has been very important for the literature on the politics of courts. It's been an unreasonably useful guide to interpreting judges' political leanings. And if you want to identify dissent in a published opinion of a court, if you have access to press summaries or head notes, they will often identify those judges who are dissenting. If you're not dealing with an apex court or a top court, then you might have to put in more effort. You might have to look at the headings which should mark off each judge's contribution. In the worst case, you'll have to read through the whole text. Here are some examples of how dissents might be set off in the published decision. This first image from the UK Supreme Court. We have here the beginning of an opinion from Lord Hughes, and he's shown explicitly as dissenting. In the bottom image, we have one of the head notes for a case from the Supreme Court of the United States, and this is the beginning of an opinion from Justice Breyer, and Justice Sotomayor and Justice Kagan join with that opinion, also dissenting. So Justice Breyer has written this, and these other two justices have signed on to it. When we're looking at these dissents, as we've just seen in this example of Justice Breyer, Sotomayor and Kagan, it's very helpful to know whether judges were joined by their colleagues. If a group of judges join in a dissent, that might indicate that, in some sense, they're on the same side of a division. It's possible, of course, to find that judges wrote multiple different opinions, so they didn't join with any other judges, but were still, in some sense, on the same side. So if we're just talking about this joining behaviour, you'll typically find that by reading those headings. If there are separate dissents, which are both on the same side, the only way to understand that is to actually read the dissents. When we're talking about dissents, or more accurately, when we're talking about judges disagreeing, judges can disagree about the outcome of the case, and they can also disagree about the reasoning behind the case, sometimes known as the ratio of the case. So usually when I'm talking about dissent, I'm talking about disagreement about the outcome, but sometimes you can also see disagreements about the ratio. If you're looking for dissent and you're not finding it, that might be because you're studying in a court which doesn't permit dissent. And some courts don't. So the Court of Justice of the European Union, for example, doesn't allow dissent. The standing orders of the court make no provision for it, and as a result, all of the decisions of the court are formally unanimous. And there are arguments for and against this practice. One thing I would say is that where you ban dissent, it makes life much harder for political scientists to identify the political leanings of different judges, which of course may be part of the point.